Your Honor, I would represent.
You're going to cut me off when I'm explaining? Okay.
And said, hey, pointed at him, you pull over. If you know, was surveillance following this car?
I believe so.
So you're speculating. So you don't know personally, definitively, whether or not somebody was following this car. True?
I guess that's sure. Yeah.
Okay. Stay with you. I got a couple questions.
Yes.
What is the lawful reason for the stop?
Welcome back. Markel Winfrey appeared before Judge Kristen D. Simmons for a preliminary exam on a police fleeing charge. At first, the case sounded simple. A marked patrol car, a blue Chevy Malibu, a claim that the driver ignored the lights. But the dash cam raised a problem. The black truck the testimony relied on was not where it was supposed to be. Now Judge Simmons had to decide whether this was really flight or whether the evidence left too much doubt.
Okay, on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Markel Winfrey in 25-01645. Appeal the case.
Anna Buckingham for the people.
And Brian Brown on behalf of Mr. Markel Winfrey, who is making his way to the defense counsel. Please state your name for the record.
Markel Winfrey, ma'am.
Any preliminary matters before we begin the exam?
Not for the defense.
Not from the people.
You can call your witnesses.
People will be calling Sergeant Scott Williams.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? You can have a seat. State your first and last name and spell.
Sergeant Scott Williams, SCOTT. Last name Williams, WILLIAMS.
You can proceed.
Thank you. Hello, Sergeant. How are you currently employed?
With the Michigan State Police.
Okay, and how long have you been working in that capacity?
I've been in the Michigan State Police for 10 years, and I've been in my current role for just over 2.
Okay, and are you currently a sergeant?
Yes.
Being in that capacity on or about March 13, 2025, around 5 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And you were working in that capacity on March 13, 2025?
Yes.
And while working that day, did you have reason to respond to the address of 1029 Lathrop Street?
Yes, sir.
And is that in the city of Lansing, county of Ingham?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was your reason for dispatching to that address?
So we were at briefing with Lansing's SOS narcotic team. They advised that they were doing a search warrant on Lathrop Street. And while we were doing a search warrant, they advised us surveillance said that the subject might have been getting into a vehicle and leaving soon, so we started moving that way. And then prior to us and START, which is Lansing's SWAT team, getting to the residence, they said they were assessing the vehicle.
Okay, so did your focus from assisting with the search warrant shift at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you then pursuing that suspect?
Yes, they told us where the suspect was headed and they wanted to track the suspect.
Okay, and were you made aware where you should be looking for that suspect?
Yes, it was coming down Wall Street.
Okay, and are you aware of the name of the suspect who you were focusing on?
Yes.
What was his name?
Markel Winfrey.
Okay, and at that point, were you aware of what Mr. Winfrey looked like?
Yes, so at the briefing for the search warrant, we provided with his Secretary of State photograph, so his driver's license photograph.
Okay. And while you were in pursuit of that suspect, what happened next?
So we were told the vehicle was coming down Walsh, so we pulled up to the intersection of Walsh and Home Street where we observed the vehicle.
Okay.
There was a black pickup at the stop sign, and behind the black pickup was our suspect vehicle, which was the blue Chevy Malibu.
Okay.
We turned off of Holmes, we're facing northbound. We turned eastbound onto Walsh and then spun behind the vehicle to initiate the traffic stop.
And at that point, did you ever lay eyes on Mr. Winfrey?
I did.
And tell me about that. Where did you see him?
In the driver's seat.
Okay, in the driver's seat, and that was at the stop sign that you.
It was behind a pickup truck at the stop sign.
Okay. Sergeant, do you happen to know what the posted speed limit at that location on Walsh was?
I'm not for sure, but it's a residential area. I'd say 25, 30, 35, something.
Okay, and in your capacity with MSP, is that residential areas, are they usually posted 25 miles around that speed?
Around, I would say 25 to 30.
Okay.
And I object to this to speculation. Either he knows or he doesn't know. He's speculating to what the speed is.
Do you know through?
You're going to redirect?
I can. And so you said that you saw Mr. Winfrey in the driver's seat of that Chevy. What did you do next?
So I was, like I said, I was in the passenger seat.
And who was driving?
Trooper Harsh.
Okay.
We pulled up kind of like, we weren't able to totally get around the vehicle, kind of like to the side of it, activating the emergency lights. At this point, I think the black pickup that was in front of him probably saw our lights, so the black pickup didn't move either. And at this point, the Chevy Malibu then went off the curb and went around the black pickup and it fled westbound.
So the car in front of the suspect vehicle seemed to stop because of the traffic light.
And I object to speculation on why they stopped.
Did the car stop when you turned on your lights?
Objection sustained.
And
We gotta slow down. Objection sustained. Are you re-asking this new question?
yes,
Okay.
I apologize.
Re-ask it again.
How
Did
the truck in front of the Chevy stop when the lights were activated on the car?
Yeah, so the vehicle was already stopped at the stop sign, but when we activated the lights, it did not continue to stop.
Okay. At that time, what vehicle were you in?
I was in Trooper Harshman's patrol vehicle.
Okay, and is that a fully marked patrol vehicle?
Yes.
And you said lights were activated, were sirens activated?
He would have to speak on that aspect. I believe so, but I can't speak.
Okay. And were you in uniform at the time?
Yes.
And when you say you tried to initiate a traffic stop, can you elaborate on that? What actions you and the trooper took?
So whenever
And I object, he can say what he took, he just stated that he can't say whether or not this other trooper has sirens on, so he can say what he specifically did to initiate the traffic stop.
that was the question, though.
I'm asking what was done to initiate a traffic stop. So.
Okay. To clarify, I get it. He can only speak to what he did. Correct. Do you need
Yes,
to repeat the
one more time.
What
question?
was done to initiate the traffic stop?
the emergency lights were.
Okay. Okay, what does Mr. Winfrey do at this point?
He pulls off to the right side of the roadway, which would be the north side, onto the curb, like the sidewalk. It goes around, there's like a telephone pole there, so it goes around that, back onto Walsh.
Okay, and when you say that you said that you saw Mr. Winfrey through the window, would you be able to identify him? Do you see Mr. Winfrey in the court today?
I do.
And could you please point out where he is and an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Yes, sir. Second subject sitting over here with a black long sleeve with a white emblem on his left chest.
Your Honor, can the record reflect that the defendant has been identified?
Any objections to identification?
No objection.
Objections noted.
No further questions.
What, trooper?
Morning, sir.
Is it
It's Sergeant.
Sergeant? Okay, Sergeant, sorry. So you stated that you had a briefing prior to you going to this address?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where was the briefing at?
So they hold it at it's called the Start Barn, which is the location for the SWAT team up at the airport.
Okay, and how far away from this briefing is the location? Roughly
Probably 10-minute drive.
10-minute drive? Okay. Now, you indicated that at some point in time, you allegedly got some type of notice that the suspect was, whoever this was about to leave, correct?
Yeah, we received information from surveillance that the subject they were watching was about to get into the vehicle.
Okay. And where were you when you got that information?
I believe we were just clearing the Start Barn when they said they saw him walking outside around the vehicle or
Okay.
near the vehicle, or I can't remember the exact information, but they gave us information saying that they thought he was about to leave and they wanted us to.
Okay, so you're still about 10 minutes away, correct? Roughly, give or
Give-
take,
give or
nine
take,
to
give or take.
10 minutes, okay. And then you stated that, I guess you and your partner got into the car and started to proceed to that area, correct? And then you received information that the suspect had left, correct?
We were really close to the residence when they advised that he had left. We were
Okay.
probably
Was
I think-
really close.
I think on Pennsylvania and Walsh, so within several blocks.
Several blocks? Okay. So you weren't at the location when this individual left, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
and you stated you received information from surveillance?
Yeah, it was yes on the same area.
It would be fair to say that surveillance would be in unmarked cars, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you allegedly received information that the suspect turned on a particular street?
They advised he was traveling would be westbound on Walsh
Okay.
Street, coming up the hills.
If you know, was surveillance following this car?
I believe so. We had surveillance on the residence and we had surveillance around following also with Start. There's a lot of surveillance.
You say you believe so. Are you sure?
Okay, thank you.
Well, I know we had a lot of surveillance vehicles around, but they were given this information, so it was not on Walsh, so they had to follow. We couldn't see it from the house.
So you're speculating, so you don't know personally, definitively, whether or not somebody was following this car, true?
I guess that's sure. Yeah.
And then you allegedly intersected with this car or saw this car at what point in time?
When it came up to the stop sign behind the black pickup at Walsh.
Okay. You weren't given a license plate, were you, of this vehicle?
I don't recall if we were or not. I don't recall.
Okay, but had you been given one, you would be able to say, yes, I was giving this particular pertinent information. You would agree to that,
I mean,
right?
that would be part of it, yeah.
Okay. And you stated what kind of car is this?
Chevy Malibu.
That's a very common car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you allegedly saw this Secretary of State photo at the briefing.
Yes.
Do you know when this photograph was taken that you were seeing?
No.
You don't?
It would say on this image, but
Okay, but did you put that in a report or anything like that?
No.
So you don't know if it's an outdated photograph?
No.
Okay, you don't know if individual's appearance would have been changed or appear different from the photograph date from the date of this particular.
Objection calls for speculation.
No, he's asking, does he know or not? So it doesn't cause speculation. Objection over.
I don't know the date from the photo.
Okay, so you don't know. Do you know if the individual in the photo, if you know, had braids?
And yes.
The person had braids?
Yes.
In the photo?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like upload a picture of that Secretary of State photograph like to your police report?
No.
You did? Now you were equipped with body cam, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review your body cam before today?
I did not review my body cam. No, my body cam really wouldn't be important because it's facing down here. We're all in a vehicle, so it'd be more the in-car video.
Okay. Glad you said that. Did you have an opportunity to review the in-car dash?
I did not. No.
You did not? Now, when you first came to, I guess, the street, you had to make a U-turn, right?
We did. Yes.
Okay. And when you made the U-turn, Mr. whoever was this vehicle wasn't in your visual, correct?
I guess how
You didn't, when you made this U-turn, you couldn't see this particular car at that time, right?
No, we could. So when we went south on, want to make sure I got my streets right here. South on Holmes, they advised where the car was coming down Walsh.
Okay.
We spun back northbound, and as we were approaching the intersection, making a eastbound shot onto Walsh, that car was right there, so we could see the car.
Now, Trooper, if you were, Sergeant, I'm sorry. If you were able to see the video, you would recognize the video from this particular. Now, Sergeant, does this appear to be an accurate depiction of the incident on which you are testifying today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to play the video at 0 seconds. And Officer Harshman, Trooper Harshman, that's your partner?
Yes, he was driving the vehicle.
Okay. Sergeant, you would agree, I'm pausing at 14 seconds, I'm sorry.
14 seconds.
Sergeant, you would agree that you had to complete a U-turn, correct?
Yeah. So that was when we turned down the street. We were given the information where it's at. We had to turn around. Yeah. So it looks like just off of Holmes, that's right there.
Okay. And you would agree at this point in time, your sirens are not activated, nor your lights activated, correct?
No, we're not up to the vehicle yet.
Okay.
No.
And I'm gonna pause at 44 seconds. And Sergeant, you would agree that you had to complete another U-turn?
Yeah, because we were facing, I guess, eastbound. He was facing westbound. So when he fled, we had to do a
Okay,
U-turn.
without using the term fled, you would agree that at this point in time, you never came over your PA and said, hey, individual in whatever car, stop. You would agree to that, right?
Yeah, we never did.
Okay. Thank you. You'd agree that your sirens never came on where you hit your sirens to indicate to anybody in the vicinity that you may wanted them to pull over, correct?
So I'm not driving, so I didn't hit the sirens. I wouldn't be one of the ones that hit it anyways. But at this point, no.
Okay, but you agree that watching this video, the sirens variable remained at 0, correct?
It did.
Okay, and you didn't yell out the window and say, hey, stop, did you? Okay. And just, I'm gonna pause at 58 seconds. You would agree that at this point in time, your lights are at 0, correct? Your lights are off, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No sirens are on, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
This is at, I'm sorry, 0:58 seconds, you said?
Yes, Judge.
No lights on?
Yes. No lights or sirens. And I'm gonna pause it at 1:16. And you would agree at 1:16, No lights are on, no sirens are on, correct?
Yeah, at this point, I had the trooper terminate because we did not pursue.
Oh, okay. So at this point in time, the pursuit was terminated, correct?
Correct. Once he
Okay,
fled.
sorry, Thomas, I didn't cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off. But at this point in time, you would agree that this was terminated, correct?
Correct. From this point. Yes.
Okay. And previously to this point, you would agree that when you first got on the street, you had to do a U-turn, correct?
Yep.
When you made that U-turn, you agree that no lights were on, correct? Correct?
The first U-turn?
Yes, the first U-turn.
Yes, correct.
And you would agree that no sirens were on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then when you made the second U-turn, after you completed that U-turn, you would agree that no sirens were on or lights, correct?
When you terminated, yes.
Okay. And you would agree that you never hit the sirens. The variable remained 0, correct?
It did, yes.
You agree that you didn't yell out the window, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You'd agree that you made no indication verbally to whoever was in the vicinity that you wanted them to stop. You'd agree with that, right? Honestly.
Other than the lights, no verbal, no.
Okay. And you would agree at this point in time, nobody's in front of you, right? There's no car in front of you, right?
The suspect vehicle's right to the left, like tired right there.
Okay. And then no sirens are being activated, correct?
Based on the 0, no.
Okay.
What time, the time stamp right here?
I'm sorry. The time is 57 seconds.
57. Okay, thank you. Read it.
Sergeant, you were just asked about the lights in relation to the U-turn that was being made. When the lights were on, you had mentioned that you were right, the car was right to the left and the tire was right there. How close do you recall the suspect car being to the patrol vehicle at the time the lights were initiated? Okay. And when those lights were activated, what did the suspect car do at that moment?
Pulled off the side of the roadway to the north, went up on the sidewalk and around the telephone pole and fled, continued westward.
So in that image where we had the stop sign, were they actually going up that curb to the right?
Correct.
Okay, so your lights were activated and that vehicle then jumped the curb.
Correct.
And Sergeant, you had said that, you were asked about the lights being turned off and the timing of that. You mentioned stopping engagement with the suspect vehicle.
Correct.
Do you know why that was done?
So as a sergeant, I'm in charge of our pursuits, whether authorizing or terminating them. And due to this not being with our policy within a violent felony, I had to pursue the chase.
Okay.
Now, Sergeant, you testified that when you saw this particular vehicle, you had your lights on, correct? And you stated that this vehicle was a truck that was at the stop sign, correct? Correct?
There was a truck at the, yes.
Yeah, and you said after you put your lights on, this particular truck remained standstill, correct?
It is.
Okay, so let's watch this video because I'm kind of curious. Just to be clear, so I'm gonna go back to 30 seconds. Is this the truck you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we see this truck at 28 seconds. You then complete your turn, correct? I'm pausing in at 54 seconds. You complete your turn, correct?
Correct.
Where's the truck at? Do you see the truck depicted on this video at 54 seconds? Yes or no?
At this point, no.
Okay. But you stated that the truck remained, correct?
Would you like me to explain?
You stated that the truck remained, correct? And after you completed your turn, the truck didn't yield to your lights, did they? They drove off, correct?
At this point, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sergeant. No further questions.
You said at this point, yes. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, please. So when I made the statement that the truck stayed is what the reason on why the vehicle had to go up and around the dip, around the curve and around, because he didn't pull it off immediately. He stayed there as he saw the light, so that's why the suspect vehicle had to go around him. And as we were doing our U-turn, then he pulled off and we were able to pull back off. That's what I was referring to.
So that's not something I would see on a on the dash cam though?
No, because it would have been behind us.
Okay, so the truck stayed, the blue vehicle went around the truck.
It went around that telephone pole there and then back onto the roadway.
Around this telephone pole?
Correct. Off the right side.
So you're saying they got on the curb?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so right here where the truck is stopped, you're saying the Malibu goes up on the sidewalk between where this curb is for this house and this pole, correct?
Yes, it goes to right there. By the pole, you see the elevated sidewalk there? And
Yes, that's
that
what I'm
lip
trying-
right there.
And then drives on the sidewalk?
Correct. And goes down that lip there. You see the right side of the truck.
Yeah,
Goes down that lip and then back onto Wall Street around that truck.
there's like a raised area on these people's curb.
Correct.
Did he drive on that?
Yes, he drove over top of it.
And Judge, we would oppose bond over, first and foremost, them performing a search warrant allegedly it's irrelevant. I think they're just trying to maybe throw some things into the court's, mind that I know the court's not going to take into consideration, but that doesn't matter. First and foremost, this officer, what valid reason did he have to stop Mr. Winfrey? He stated that they were allegedly there to do a search warrant and that he allegedly heard some type of information that Mr. Winfrey was getting in the car to leave. No arrest warrant. He didn't indicate that Mr. Winfrey had any type of traffic violation of which he should be stopped. No blinker, nothing of the sort. He stated, which is, I believe, not truthfully, that originally that he saw this truck. And when he put his lights on, this truck remained at a standstill. We saw from the video that this particular truck was at a stop sign, and after the sergeant completed its U-turn, this truck was gone. This truck did not yield to the lights. How would this truck know that the sergeant was aiming for the car behind him? Obviously, these lights were no indication to anybody that a traffic stop was being performed. We saw him do a particular U-turn. It took him 20 seconds to complete this U-turn. From a reasonable standpoint, it would seem that he was pulling up to this particular yard and people were approaching. You saw people coming from outside, they were approaching. It seemed like his business was at this particular residence. He had no indication that he put his sirens on, yelled out the window, put on the PA, had any indication whatsoever to anybody, least of all Mr. Winfrey, that he intended for any vehicle to stop, especially if you're going the opposite way of a particular vehicle. He could have pulled inside of the vehicle. He could have pulled on the side of the vehicle and said, hey, pointed at him, you pull over, you pull over. Could have did a number of things. He had his lights on for all of what, 25 seconds? And 20 of those seconds, he was completing a U-turn. And after he completed that particular U-turn, he turned his lights off. There's no indication whatsoever that anybody would have been under any knowledge that this officer intended him to turn around or stop. Now, he states that allegedly Mr. Winfrey went over the curb and did all of this. From my observation of this video, it seemed that there's no room for Mr. Winfrey to go around this truck onto the curb, onto somebody's house, and then over a curb. Like, that just seems kind of far-fetched, especially from the vantage point where the officer would have been. He's in the passenger seat. So allegedly, when this is happening, his car is not even turned around in a position to even observe these particular things. So, Judge, even at a probable cause standard, we know this is not a trial, they have not met their burden for one, having even a purpose to even stop Mr. Winfrey. Least of all, any evidence that they notified Mr. Winfrey that he was being stopped and he then disobeyed that particular order. So, Your Honor, we would ask for this case to not bind over and be dismissed. Thank you.
Any re-argument? Also, can you pull that video up on your computer again?
Yes.
So I can see, pull it up to the 54-second mark. You can re-argue.
Sure. First, to just touch on the beginning of defense's argument of minimizing search warrant, that obviously is a valid reason for a response, and the duties of the sergeant and trooper in that moment to be appearing, being told by the dispatch that we need you to redirect your attention to respond and pursue a person of interest in connection with that warrant. I don't believe it's reasonable for anyone to expect officers to lean out their window and yell, stop. And clearly it wasn't necessary in the situation because, as we heard from the testimony, the moment the lights were initiated, there was a desperate response, jumping a curb and fleeing. We would just ask that you bind over based on this. Thank you.
Stay with you. I got a couple questions.
Yes.
What is the lawful reason for the stop?
Lawful reason is the pursuit of the suspect based on
A search warrant?
There is a search warrant, and I do have a
Search
copy of
warrant
that.
for
The address that the defendant was seen
But
at.
that's not, how does that translate how does that translate to a stop, a lawful stop of this person in a vehicle for a traffic stop?
It was based on another ongoing investigation in connection to that search warrant.
We don't have anything here. I don't think we have anything here that was put on this record that supports a lawful stop. I recognize that there was probably a search warrant, and we're not disputing that, but he said that they were executing a search warrant on an address of 1029 Lathrop. How does that translate to I can just stop you randomly on the road for a traffic stop? Am I supposed to, what, I'm gonna stop you and take you back to Lathrop? I'm confused about that. I have more questions. The concern about, I think it's unreasonable. Officers don't usually yell out of the vehicle, hey, stop. But a state trooper vehicle has the ability to intercom, and that's reasonable. So that's my other question. Can you bring this to 50? I don't want to touch your computer. 54 where the 54-second mark is? Because it's not very clear on the computer. But counsel, I want you to both approach here so that you can see my concern at the 54-second mark, unless you can share your screen again right at the 54-second.
Sure.
I do share the concern that the sergeant trooper testified that black vehicle or a pickup truck had stopped. Trooper hasn't even done a complete U-turn here. He hadn't even finished. There's no black truck there. So that's not true. The black truck didn't yield because it's gone. As you can see at the angle of where this trooper is, he hasn't even turned all the way around yet. So the black truck couldn't yield. The other reason why I want you to stop there, because I'm trying to figure out how big is this sidewalk that a vehicle could get on it. That's why I asked, did he drive on the people's yard? Do you see these leaves and stuff here? I don't even see skid. I don't see any marks where anybody drove through and from here.
Your Honor, I would
you're going to cut me off while I'm explaining? Okay. I don't see any place here where a vehicle has driven through there. And I'm looking at the picture. I'm pretty sure I could probably zoom in too. But there's nothing there to show me that he drove on the grass here with his vehicle and then back into the street. So that's my concern. Where's that evidence?
Your Honor, I would add that there's audio to this and the interaction with neighbors after that can supplement that. I don't have that specific video right now accessible to pull up. I also know that would call for interactions with neighbors that are occurring. But just to kind of aid in the situation in this video and further explanation of responses to what had just happened, that would be the reason that.
That's not evidence that's before this court. And obviously, the prosecution would have reasonably foreseen that the court's going to have questions about, did he jump the curb? Because that's what they're saying. He jumped the curb and that he drove on the sidewalk. That's why I had to slow it down, because I'm trying to figure out how big is the sidewalk that a car could get on there. And then there's a brick wall kind of in the area, which I don't really see from this vantage point. I did see it on the other when he was turning. I also agree that if an officer pulls the way he pulls in and turns on lights on, I don't think he is stopping me either. If the prosecution could show me evidence that he jumped this curb, then that's different. The problem is I have now a sergeant trooper who's telling me that the black truck yielded, but before I could even before he even turned around, the black truck's gone. It'd be different if I can see him turn around, the black truck was still there. Then that makes the story make sense that the blue Malibu went around him and left. But the black truck is gone, which calls into credibility of this story. Why is the black truck gone? And he just told me the black truck was there, and I'm looking at the video. This is did you have an argument?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. This is the date set for a preliminary examination. The burden is squarely upon the prosecution to establish probable cause. That's more than mere suspicion. The sergeant trooper testified that as they were approaching the area at the intersection, that there was a black pickup truck and a blue Chevy Malibu behind it, which the court saw and recognized or saw the lights, and that he yielded. But his testimony is that the defendant or the vehicle that the defendant supposedly was in did not yield. The court does have concerns about the veracity of that portion of the testimony because the court is looking at the exhibit of the dash cam, in which at this point, because it did take, I noted how long it took for the trooper to turn the vehicle around. However, if in fact the trooper's statement could prove true here, that the black truck, even if we move it forward and see where the officer completely turned around, there's no black truck even in sight. It has been gone. It's for those reasons that I don't believe that the people have met their burden. This case is dismissed for lack of probable cause.
This hearing showed why a fleeing charge cannot rest on assumption alone. The law required proof that police gave a clear order to stop, that Markel Winfrey knew that order, and that he refused to obey it. But the dash cam created doubt. The lights were brief, the truck was already gone, and the judge questioned whether the testimony matched what the video actually showed. This case was dismissed, but the question it raised, whether a driver truly knew he was being ordered to stop, is one courts deal with constantly. Every case has a moment where the law either holds or breaks. The next one is no different. Subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns.